Don't disrespect yourself by chasing the acceptance of others. There's a reason why I'm saying this, like there's a story behind this. But I want to talk about letting people miss out on you. Personally, looking back at last year, there was a situation where I was disrespecting myself, lowering my standards and sense of self-worth to be accepted by certain people. And the surprising thing is that I never do this. I'm someone who's very self-loving. It gives me the ick, diminishing myself, lowering my standards, and settling for less in order to earn the acceptance of another person. Like, I'm very honest with my boundaries. I call people out on their actions. But then now I realize that only with certain types of people I tend to close an eye. And this is going to look different for a lot of y'all. You know, some people do it with who they think that it's better than them, that has more status, that is more rich or older than them, with people who they admire. And they kind of start to diminish themselves because they see them as better than them, you know, and they are like idolizing them over themselves. I used to literally let people disrespecting me and not calling them out like I usually would. And this ties back to letting people miss out on you, because this is what you need to do sometimes. Like, it's never worth trying to keep certain people in your life at the cost of your self-respect. If it's going to cost you losing respect for yourself, if it means allowing them to cross certain boundaries of yours, if it means acting in a different way in order to be liked, because you know that maybe they're not going to accept the true authentic version of yourself, like, please, it's not worth it to keep someone in your circle if it means that you have to close an eye and be disrespected by them. If it means that you have to break down your normal barriers. Sometimes we are going to let certain types of people to get away with certain small little things. You know, like, I think we all do that. Like, for example, you're going to like close an eye with your friend or family member, parent who does that little thing that you wouldn't accept if a stranger did that to you. You know? Like, you're going to forgive them more than if they were strangers. But personally, I really don't believe this is good. Like, you should also put limits to those people as well, because what I've understood is that people normalize whatever behavior you allow them to do to you. Those people who are close to you, they are doing certain different things to you, and believe it or not, people test the respect that people have for themselves. We kind of test their boundaries. You know, like, people test to see, are they going to show themselves respect, protect themselves, call out on our actions, or are they going to just let me cross their boundaries? How much I can keep doing that? Where is the limit of that person? And we do that subconsciously. Like, a lot of people, they do that with bullying or criticizing or making fun of other people just to see how they respond. And if they realize that they can get away with it, then they're going to keep continuing to do that. But then with certain types of people, they're like, oh my god, I'm not going to mess with them because I know that they're going to call me out, you know, show themselves respect. They're going to get angry or upset or defend themselves. Like, the respect that you have for someone is based on the limit and the boundaries that they set for themselves. And the sad thing that I realized is that people get comfortable with whatever you normalize. So whenever you let people cross a certain boundary of yours, or whenever you never check people on, they are going to get comfortable with it, and they're going to try to break that barrier more and more to see where is your limit, where you finally check them on, to see when you're going to say stop or no or break up with them, because otherwise they're going to just keep breaking barriers after barrier. And that's why you should be self-aware with what is the type of limit you have allowed those people, especially those who are close to you, to cross, and try to not let them normalize disrespecting you with all these small little things, because it all adds up. You know, some people do it with borrowing stuff from you because they know that you don't have the strength and the courage to say no, because they know that you are a people pleaser. Some people are going to make fun of you because they know that you're never going to stand up for yourself, and it may not even come to a point where it's intentional because it's all subconscious. Like when it comes to that point where people are disrespecting you subconsciously, where they just don't see it as disrespect anymore, they just think that this is allowed. Like when it gets to that point, that's when you know that you are in bad territory. That's when you really need to start enforcing things. And what I realized is that it's way harder to get that respect back, to get someone to see you as someone they cannot mess with. Like for example, let's say you have normalized for this person to get away with certain things. Well, it's going to be hard to reverse that, to change that, to unnormalize that for them without them seeing you as a people pleaser anymore or someone they can cross certain boundaries with. And that's why you really need to enforce your boundaries early on. And I think that when it came to me 1 year ago, and probably you're going to relate to it, when it came to enforcing boundaries, you feared that they are going to get upset. You feared their reaction. You were worried whether they are going to accept you, whether they are going to accept the new version of yourself, the version of you who has self-respect, who has boundaries. And that's why letting people miss out on you comes out. Which is understanding that some people are not for you. Because what you have to understand is that if you don't change, if you don't enforce something, you cannot even trust them. They're not going to show up for you in times of need, and they're not going to put effort into you. So that's why you really need to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth lowering my standards, my self-worth, just to force this person to stay in your life? What do they bring in your life? Like, is that even a good thing for you? They may have this thing that is very rare that you cannot find in other people because maybe you live in a small city. This trait, they are ambitious, but don't allow that to blind you. Don't allow that to make you overlook all the negative, toxic traits that they have, all those bad things that they do to you. I think that like for a lot of people, when they, get a partner, they tend to say, oh, they listen to me, they are good looking, they are kind to me, they understand me. But what about the toxic side of that person? What about how they treat the waitresses at the restaurant or your friends? You cannot allow yourself to overlook all the bad traits of that person because you're overly focused on the good, And the worst thing is that sometimes the bad outshines the good. Sometimes they can bring more negative traits than the good, but you cannot see that because you're too attached to the feeling when they bring that romantic side or that good side of them. You get so caught up with the fact that you can talk to them that you're overlooking their red flags. And I'm speaking from experience because I've been doing this. I'm now very aware about their toxic traits, red flags, and I try to write them on a notebook so I can remind me of those things. And obviously I'm going to call them out for it, and if they don't change, then I'm going to be okay with losing them. Because sometimes some people may not want to be in your life anymore because they don't want to be with this new version of yourself. Even when you make certain mistakes to people, you do something wrong or you hurt them, a kind of mistake that others tend to hold a grudge against you, you have to realize that an apology is enough. Just you trying to change yourself, even though it's difficult or it's not instantaneous, is enough. You taking accountability for it is enough. But what you shouldn't do is to get into this headspace where you think you owe something to them. For example, I used to think that I have to owe something to that person that I hurt and that I need to diminish myself, as a result disrespect myself. Never get into that point where you are trying to get their respect back to you, their trust back to you, to the point that you're going to lower the respect you have for yourself, diminish your own sense of worth, to the point where you're saying, okay, now I'm going to allow you to cross these boundaries of mine. I'm not going to call you out and hold you accountable for your actions. I'm going to normalize all this disrespect that I don't usually normalize. And that's why you have to realize when you do something wrong to another person, you just need to take accountability for it. You can ask for forgiveness and start to change. Own up your BS, but don't let that lower the respect you have for yourself, your sense of worth, your self-concept that you still have to have for yourself. Don't let that put this person on a pedestal. It seems like you're trying to climb the mountain for them, get back to them, or something like that. And again, when you start doing this, a lot of people are going to start to miss out on you. A lot of people are not going to forgive you. A lot of people are not going to accept a new version of yourself. And a lot of people are going to feel like this sense of entitlement where you owe something to them, that you need to put them on a pedestal. They essentially want you to suck up to them for some actions that you did on the past. They're going to accept something more out of you. That's when you need to really put some limits, because you get so caught up with trying to beat this version of yourself so you can get their approval back, trying to do all these things so then you can be enough for them, so they can finally accept you or see you from a different lens. But P.S. I promise you, this is going to be a very suffering process. Like, you're going to, again, lower your sense of worth. You're going to lose a whole lot of respect for yourself, and you're not going to feel good. That's why I say that some people are not meant for you. If they forgive you, that means that they are meant for you. If they don't, then it means that they were never meant for you. Some people just change. The vibes are not the same anymore. Sometimes they're just in a different chapter of their lives, and you're going to lose certain people. You might lose them now and they're going to come back later. You may have them for a long period of time and then lose them. People are temporary. They are not permanent in your life. It's not guaranteed that they're going to be in your life forever. Sometimes the friends that you have now, they're going to be different in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. They change so often because people come and go for a certain amount of reasons. Sometimes you just fall out, sometimes you just outgrow each other, sometimes they just move away. There are a lot of reasons as to why people come and go in your life. And I know that in the moment it feels awful, sad, and lonely, but I don't want you to stay stagnant and stuck. I don't want you to try to force these people and keep them in your life, trying to keep everything the same, trying to keep the vibes the same, to the point that, again, you start to diminish the respect that you have for yourself. You start to put this facade in order to keep them around, because you gotta have this mindset of the fact that people are wants and not needs. If you lose that person, then someone better is going to come. It means that the universe is showing you that you are growing, that you are becoming a new version of yourself. Sometimes you have to let go of the old in order to step into this new version of yourself, this new chapter. Sometimes the universe is going to be like, hey, this person is no longer for you, so please don't hold on to them, because I'm about to give you something that is more aligned with the new version of yourself. So don't get caught up with trying to keep people in your life, because you need to know that there's always something better out there. And yeah, if you want to know why feeling late doesn't mean that you're failing, then watch this video. Yeah, see you there, Drama Liner.